This is a good day for America.
On KDAWN.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the #1 professional wrestling radio show in Las Vegas. This is the Mark Hoke Show. The Mark Hoke Show. Going bell to bell with the best in professional wrestling news, entertainment, and lots of Sin City surprises from inside the squared circle. Now, let's get to all the exciting pro wrestling action and bring on the host. Here is Mark Hoke.
Good morning, Las Vegas. What's going on? Welcome to the Mark Hoke Show here on KDAWN 101.5 FM. The talk of Las Vegas is the best of pro wrestling and a whole lot more. This is going to be one hell of a show, kids. Be ready for a roller coaster ride of ups, downs, and just all around mayhem. That's kind of what pro wrestling is. You know, we share that culture, and good things happen, bad things happen, but you know, the real world kind of hit us this week, and we're going to be talking about that a little bit later on in the show because it hit pretty close to home with me. But we're going to have some fun talking pro wrestling, and we got a very special guest coming up. I'll tell you who that is in just a second, but first, let me bring in the boys. They're all here. They're all here. I'm so excited. Let's get the first man that was in the door from the Wrestling Revolver. He is president of wrestling. He is bald and proud of it. He looks good. And can work on that soul patch a little bit, but otherwise pretty handsome. Phil Stamper, everybody. What's going on?
Good morning, sir. How are you today?
I'm conscious. Barely.
On that, I'm right there with you.
It's been a crazy week.
Yes.
I would also like to bring in from Guys Talking Wrestling. We have I'm getting an echo from Stu there. I'm not sure what's up there, but Stu will reconnect with me, will you? But Stu Myrick from Sports Guys Talking Wrestling, we'll get him back on as soon as we see what was going on with him. We've also got from Ad Free Shows. He is the legend, the superstar basketball coach as well, by the way. And if you haven't checked out Ad Free Shows,
good year.
Coach Rosey is here. What's going on, Coach?
Oh man, I'm up in Flagstaff visiting my two sons who go to Northern Arizona University. So I'm a little blurry-eyed this morning. The three of us had a blast at a local Irish pub.
Very nice.
Last night.
Very nice.
They had
no wonder you
music, and we had a blast.
No wonder you're home. Okay, let's try Stu again here. Stu Myrick from Sports Guys Talking Wrestling. There we go.
Is it better? All right.
Much better. Thank you. I'm not hearing me.
Echoes. I hated doing. I mean, that was a big thing, you know, being in radio, and I was an on-site engineer. And my God, the echoes. We were trying to do high school football, and you know, hearing voices twice just always throws you off. How are you doing? How's everybody? It's good to see everybody.
Great.
Yeah, it's good. It is good to see everybody. I'm very happy you're all here today. So, and we are going to be having a very special guest coming up in hour number 2. And I am so excited to have this guy on. I've gotten to talk to him a few times, but this will be the first time he'll be on the show. From Fox Across America, which airs here on KDAWN 6 to 8 p.m. He is also the host of Fox News Saturday Night. Great stand-up comedian. He is going to be doing 2 shows here in town at the Durango on November 29th, opening up the Agave Theater. And former cab driver and just a heck of a great guy and a big wrestling guy too. So we're having him on the show. Jimmy Failla is going to be joining us, guys. That's going to be fun. Wow.
Jimmy's funny. I was just thinking about some of his wit when I watched some of his news programs. So I'm excited to meet him.
Yeah, he's a pretty hilarious dude. So looking forward to having Jimmy Failla joining us in hour number 2. That'll be great. Jimmy makes me laugh too. It didn't take much. When he's come on other shows on our station here, I've gotten to talk to him, and yeah, a lot of fun. Big Hogan fan, by the way. Big Hogan fan.
I prepared some maybe some talk about American-made freestyle too, because he works for Fox.
That is very true. Very true. All right. Well, let's get into some of the news of the day or the week, I should say. And boy, it was kind of hard to pick out what was the biggest one, but I'm going to go with this, at least in the wrestling world. WrestleMania 43, guys.
Yeah.
and if you're watching on the live stream right now, everybody's head just snapped back. All of them. If you have not heard, WrestleMania 43, a kind of a premature announcement was made by the boys in Saudi Arabia. And then Triple H had the big press conference yesterday, and WrestleMania
press, by the way.
Yeah. WrestleMania 43 will be in Riyadh, Saudi Arabia. And boy, I could tell everybody, all the wrestlers that were there were darned excited about it.
I couldn't tell if they were there for an announcement or the 10-bell salute.
It was so weird. So weird. But guys, there is a lot of ramifications to WrestleMania being held outside of North America for the first time. And, a few points that I guess I was thinking of was, first, they got paid $100 million for this. And I have a feeling that the Saudis are going to be booking WrestleMania. There is no way that they're not going to get the matches that they want. All sorts of, it's purely speculative. I mean, there's no way to know what matches are going to be on WrestleMania 43 in a couple of years. But guys, how much control do you think the Saudis are going to have on this card? Let me start with Phil. I think this is a good Phil question.
I say a fair amount. My brain just went to, well, that might mean that Killer Cross has an opportunity. Because hey, if they're fans of wrestling and that's what the fans want in 2 years, you're right. I mean, this is the same regime that notoriously wanted Yokozuna to be on the event, even though he is long past. And so, and it just brings to mind, like, okay, well, what's going on? How much? And of course, they're a business. At the end of the day, they want to meet the highest profit they can possibly receive, give back to their shareholders, all of that stuff. All that they're speaking to. Even before this announcement, TKO put out a statement about how they don't think WWE is living up to their financial potential because Vince McMahon kept things for families to be affordable.
Yeah, we're going to talk about that too.
Model, right? So they're trying to make the most money out of it. That's at the end of the day, that's all it is.
I mean, it's going to be a good crowd, Coach Rosey. It'll be a good crowd, but I don't know how many Americans are going to make that trip over to Saudi Arabia. We're used to, I think, having all the festivals and everything else, and I'm sure they will too. But the indie promotions, do you think how the heck are they going to get over to Saudi Arabia? And this is, that's a lot of lost income.
Yeah, I don't know if Effie's big gay event would go over well in Saudi like it did in WrestleMania weekend, the brunch. So that would be cut. And I don't know if WrestleCon would be doing their stuff. And most of the stuff we do during WrestleMania week does not include WrestleMania. In fact, a lot of people don't even go to the event because they've had so much fun and have just been saturated in the wrestling community that a WrestleMania event brings to a city. So even if an American was to go, they might have, a $2,000 Stone Cold meet and greet and all that, but they're not going to have an opportunity to sit in a bar and talk shit with their friends about WrestleMania 13 or, who's going over here, there. It just takes a lot away from it. And it just shows their priority. A lot of people gave Vince a lot of crap about how he did things, but he did price things for the families. And thank God for that, because we do have a great culture of wrestling through fathers, through sons, through daughters, but that is slowly starting to go away. And I think this is a clear beacon that it will be gone by 2027.
Well, Stu Myrick, we also had Bianca Belair make a statement about how much progress there's been for women because of WWE being there. And I saw some really funny cartoons about, with somebody holding a gun to her back and stuff like that. And just, talking about guns, I guess, is kind of rough right now. But do you think that's legit? I mean, Stu, she looked like that was such a canned statement. And it was certainly made to try to circumvent any questions about human rights in Saudi Arabia, and especially women's rights. This is going to be something that I think is going to stick in everybody's craw. And I don't think they're getting away with just having Bianca come out and say, hey, everything's cool. We're making progress, to smooth it all over. There's going to be a lot of questions about this. And, this is WrestleMania, bigger event, more scrutiny.
Yeah, look, let's get past all the, Saudi Arabia, their horrible human rights violations and the killing of the journalist way back when, and all the stuff. Yeah, the statement Bianca Belair, she's a good soldier. She's doing what she's supposed to do for the company. And I get it. It's a business. They got to make money. I understand that totally. You're right. There's probably not going to be even a small American presence in Saudi Arabia. It is we are so used to WrestleMania weekend being that, like Coach Rosey said, the wrestling world coming together for everything that is not WWE, with all the indie promotions and the WrestleCons and everything else. That's not going to happen in 2027. As far as I know, there is no independent wrestling in Saudi Arabia. I could be wrong. So you're not going to have that. It's going to be WWE. They'll do SmackDown. They'll do the Hall of Fame. They'll do WWE World. They'll do Mania. They'll do Raw. But you're not going to have all the stuff that happens around it. So there's that. And then, yes, WWE is going to be answering questions for the next 18 months on this, with all the different things that go into putting on events. And look, I guess they're kind of used to it because they've been doing this this dance with Saudi Arabia since 2018, when they came up with the deal. On top of that, yes, them saying, TKO saying that WWE hasn't reached their financial potential. That's the translation is, ticket prices are going to go even higher. They're going to price out families. There was a few years ago, we here in Austin, we had an MMA show, and in fact, it preceded mine on the radio station called Fight Night, and I would go on there on occasion, and we talked about the fact that UFC had become basically just a content creator, little more than that. Guess what? They're doing the same thing with WWE. It's going to be the same thing. And it's, and again, I've been preaching this for weeks. WWE is no longer about good wrestling and all that. They're about the moment. That's all they care about.
Yeah, I would agree with you on that. So do you think this is a good decision, guys? I'll go back to Phil on that. Just in terms of the overall picture. I mean, money-wise, they're going to make a boat ton of money. There's no doubt about it. But is this the right decision for professional wrestling?
See, that's hard. And we're talking about it now, and in 2 years, they're going to sort of climatize us towards the direction that they're going. I think they'll try to add in some special things inside the U.S. that we're not seeing currently. I don't know what that is, but I feel like they are going to try to be mindful of those things. I don't think there's other pieces to this, and I think it was Coach Rosey that mentioned about the way people were getting into wrestling from father to son and daughter, and they were sort of latching in that way. Well, I remember being able to turn on Saturday morning and watching Superstars, and that was my link in. Yeah. And even my mom now, when I talk to her sometimes about pro wrestling, she's like, "Isn't it still like for kids?" And I'm like, "Well, no, not quite." And so I feel like we've lost that earlier generational connection to wrestling. What I am seeing is a lot more families are going to independent wrestling, and there's sort of this different kind of weaving now of going, watching mainstream WWE and then going to see local events and how people are perceiving pro wrestling to a very different degree than what I felt like 10, 20 years ago. I think as a business, okay, smart decision as a business, as the WWE, as a business entity. As for wrestling, I'm not feeling that wonderful about it, but I'm hearing scuttles about, well, maybe the collective will decide they're going to do something in a particular city and then try to rally other companies around, or that WrestleCon might do the same. So I think that's to be seen.
Yeah, before you go to break, I'll hit you guys with this. Should AEW and other companies put together an event on WrestleMania weekend and counter program this? I mean, you can still make it a weekend of celebration of professional wrestling like it is, but you know what? WWE's just going to be out of it. And I saw somebody suggest Tony should do a show that weekend and build around it. I wouldn't have a problem with that, Coach. Would you?
No, it makes sense. I mean, he's got the money to risk it. It's not like it's going to be a do or die situation like WrestleMania 1 was for Vince. He's got the money, so if it flops, screw it. They'll put some more bumpers on some cars. He's got Jacksonville Jaguars. So no, I would go to it, and then knowing Tony, he would be smart and time it to either begin when the Saudi show ends, so it wouldn't be really counter. So you'd be able to see both if you really wanted to.
Stu, should the entire wrestling world counter program?
There should be a weekend like that, not on WrestleMania weekend. Don't do it on WrestleMania. And Tony has done, he has made it crystal clear he does not want to piggyback on WrestleMania weekend. He took Supercard of Honor away from WrestleMania weekend. Let's not forget that. We did it in Arlington at when All In weekend. So yes, do a big weekend where it's AEW and MLW and the NWA and the Indies and WrestleCon and everything. Do that weekend, not on WrestleMania weekend. Do it the week before, the week after, something like that, but stay away from WrestleMania weekend.
See, I'm feeling kind of feisty. I'd do it. While the eyes of the pro wrestling world are looking at WrestleMania, man, go for it. Give them a taste of their own medicine. That's what I say. Take that spoonful of sugar and top of that goo and shovel it down everybody's throats.
He's got a puke.
He's got a puke. Oh God, there's a reference.
And after the break, I want to make a point about indie wrestling and something with something what Phil said.
Uh-oh.
Okay, we will do that. And we're also going to talk about the comments that got made by TKO COO Mark Shapiro. We've been referencing them a little bit. Oh, get ready to dig into your wallets if you want to go see WWE, kids, because it ain't good news. Stick around, everybody. We'll be right back on the Mark Hoke Show.
The real estate market feels more uncertain than ever these days. From Pahrump to Boulder City, homes are sitting longer for sale, prices are falling, and sellers are outnumbering buyers like never before. Do you want to sell your house now but worried about it sitting on the market for too long? Call Wedgwood Homes first to discuss your options. Do you have a house that needs repairs, ready to downsize, relocate, or sell an inherited property? Dealing with rental headaches, financial stress, or foreclosures? Wedgwood Homes can help. We offer a fast, reliable, all-cash offer. Wedgwood Homes buys homes as is, no repairs, no commissions, no hassle. Close in as little as 3 days or on your timeline. Don't wait for the market to get worse as home prices continue to fall. Skip the stress of a traditional listing. Call Wedgwood Homes. Our offers are firm, no last-minute price drops. Call 702-996-3583 for your no-obligation, all-cash offer. 702-996-3583. That's 702-996-3583. Las Vegas's trusted home buyer for 20 years. See our reviews at wedgwoodhomes.com.
Every day, the left is rewriting history and indoctrinating our kids with lies and Marxist philosophy. Schools and media push an agenda that tears down America and erases the truth. That's exactly why PragerU exists. They're fighting back, preserving American history and values in digital form and reaching millions of young people online. When kids watch PragerU, they see the truth about freedom, responsibility, and the greatness of this country. PragerU does all this for free, without taking a dime in government money. Every dollar they use to change minds comes from people like you who care about truth and preserving American history. But they can't do it alone. They need you to stand and fight with them through your support. And right now, every single dollar you give to PragerU will be triple matched. That means your support has 3 times the power to fight back against indoctrination. Please take advantage of this limited time opportunity to have your gift triple matched and join the fight today. Go to PragerU.com/radio. That's PragerU.com/radio. Together, we can protect the next generation.
I'm Scott Hansen, host of NFL Red Zone. Lowe's knows Sundays are for football. That's why we're here to help you get your next DIY project done, even when the clock isn't on your side. Whether that's a new Filtrete filter or Bosch and Cobalt power tools, Lowe's has everything you need to feel like the MVP of DIY. So get it done and earn your Sunday. Shop now, in-store and online. Lowe's, official partner of the NFL.
Now that I'm a dad, I can't stop thinking about what would happen to my kids if something happened to me, like losing the house or not affording college.
Yeah, that used to keep me up at night too. It's why I finally got life insurance from Ethos. It's 100% online. No medical exams, just a few health questions. I got $2 million in coverage for around $2 a day.
I never realized it was that simple. Get your free quote at ethos.com/game. That's ethos.com/game.
Rates may vary. Bill monthly. Sample rate 10-year term life policy for a 35-year-old healthy non-smoking male.
1015 FM KDAWN. This is the Mark Hoke Show. The Mark Hoke Show. Here again, your host, Mark Hoke.
Darn it, I almost got it right pointing at people on the live stream. I was so close. I couldn't do the diagonal. It's all right. Yeah, if you are enjoying the Mark Hoke Show, but you want to get involved, Phil Stamper's making a fool out of me here. Come into the chat box, say hi. Because I tell you what, we're gonna have some very interesting discussions today. But hop in at Mark Hoke Show on X and at the Mark Hoke Show on Facebook and YouTube. Come join us. By the way, comment in the chat box. So I want to say hi to Eric Marker in the chat box, who just out of the blue said, "I miss WCW." I think
Mark
we all do. I think we do. It's all good.
Yeah.
So thanks for stopping in, Eric. We appreciate it. Stu, make your point about the Indies.
Yeah, it was just something that Phil was talking about it, and it brought to mind. So Phil's been involved with Wrestling Revolver. I'm involved with Inspire Victorious here in Austin. And we were talking about like WWE versus indie wrestling. Indie wrestling, and I felt this for quite a few years, and I am probably the most but indie wrestling is a little like punk rock. It has a punk rock feel. And I see it. Obviously here in Austin, we have a very eclectic crowd. We get a very eclectic roster. You mentioned Effie. We bring in Effie on a regular basis.
Love
it. It's a very, very, like I said, just a very punk rock type of deal. I think, Phil, you'd probably see it at Revolver, which, by the way, they're coming back to Texas in a couple weeks.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, and so that's another thing to think about when you talk about what happens around WrestleMania on WrestleMania weekend. And that's another reason why I'm of the opinion that, yes, do a big event, just don't do it on Mania weekend. Just do it on another weekend where it can have, I think it would have a bigger spotlight if it's on a separate weekend.
Well, fair enough. Well, why are we talking about the money situation? Well, you're ready for this one, kids. So we had a interview with Mark Shapiro, who is the COO of TKO, which is the parent company of UFC and WWE. And he ripped Vince McMahon about ticket pricing. And here's what he said. WWE is not where the UFC is yet on ticket yields. We have our work to do there. We've seen a meaningful increase as evidenced by the 59% margin we did in the second quarter. Ticket sales and site fees play a big part in driving that. We know we have more room to go. Why do we know that? UFC is breaking records everywhere they go. We know we have a lot of room there because Vince McMahon was primarily pricing tickets for families and wasn't totally focused on maxing the opportunity there. We see what we can do with the UFC, and we're replicating that in terms of ticket yield and advanced sales when it comes to on location. On the WWE side, it's working out really well. So, and then the article that I have here from Cultaholic brought up that WrestleMania 41 is the most expensive WrestleMania to attend in show history, with tickets initially beginning at $450 and rising to over $10,000. WrestlePalooza tickets for a one-shot show here in Minneapolis or Indianapolis, our ringside is running about $6,000. And so, Coach, I want to go back to you because you brought it up first about pricing families out, and TKO doesn't care. Is this going to bite them?
Tell me a corporation that does care. I mean, we're in a culture where get what you can, forget about the long term. I mean, yeah, Saudi Arabia in the short term might be a great windfall, but in the long term, you're going to be robbing people of an opportunity to truly fall in love with your product. It's terrible, but what can you do? You can't do it. Just watch it on the show and then, fave up. But they're not catering to the wrestling fan. They want to make these things a spectacle. If they're willing to take John Cena's last match out of Boston and putting it in DC, that makes that would have never happened under Vince's watch. He would have paid extra just to have it in Boston. He would have paid a traveling show to move their date just so John could have his last match there. So the tradition that professional wrestling means and has meant to all of us and so many others, that's starting to go away because we are coming to an age where it's clear that the fan experience and true ownership in a company that you have as a fan is going away.
Well, Phil, and I know you agree with Coach Rosey there, but I want to also take it from a little bit different perspective too, is that professional wrestling has always been something that has been an event for families to go to. Mm-hmm. And it's been one of those things that has been passed down from generation to generation. My family took me to see pro wrestling. And so many kids got to go to events because of their parents or their grandparents or just, watching in front of the TV. How many stories have we heard about that? Yeah. Is this a threat in terms of breaking that generational gap? Or, maybe it's going to drive everybody elsewhere to AEW, who has expressly said, we're keeping our ticket prices down, and to the indies.
To a degree, because I think for the last several years, Mania hasn't really been the quote unquote family experience. I feel like I see more groups of older people by themselves going, not with kids. So I don't necessarily see it as a family outing. I know some families still do. Don't get me wrong. But I mean, this argument has come up for years that WWE was raising their prices too high, and then they were seeing shrinking audience sizes at times when they thought that their game was the highest. And it's like, well, if you lower it and then do direct marketing to families, then you would get more people in. So to say like, well, we're not maximizing, and we've increased our yield, but it's like, well, but you haven't really addressed the problems. You're starting to see a drain on even viewership. So where really is this going to go? Are you just going to price it out so much that now you have to rely on smaller venues that you can make it look bigger because you're using those smaller venues and price out the wazoo for it? That's kind of where I feel almost like it's going to go.
Stu, what do you think about all this? You and I have been watching wrestling for a long time, man, and changing this up and pushing in a direction of a professional sport, I just don't know if it's a good idea.
Look, it's been a trend in sports. You look at the NFL, you look at Major League Baseball. When Major League Baseball had the last strike, everybody was pushing go to the minors. And of course, Las Vegas, they have a minor league team. We have the AAA affiliate for the Rangers in Round Rock, which is just the northern suburb of Austin. Everybody's pushing go to the minors. NFL, and they've been talking about, NFL pricing people out. I just pulled up. So Giants Cowboys at noon Central at up at AT&T Stadium in Arlington. Right now, I can buy a ticket. The standing room only tickets, which is, if you've seen AT&T Stadium, it's the end zone decks. To get a standing room only ticket is $75. That's your standing the entire game. We haven't talked about parking. We haven't talked about getting to the stadium, all that good stuff.
Mm-hmm.
WWE is doing this. I mean, they feel like this is going to lead to bigger profits and all that good stuff. It's the same discussion we just had about Saudi Arabia. It's all about the profits. It's all about the traditions of wrestling, the traditions of pro wrestling, as we all of us have experienced over the last few decades. Those in WWE, those are going away in favor of making the dollar. Like you said, John Cena having his last match in DC. That's
incredible.
Why why DC? When I was lucky enough, I went to Greensboro, North Carolina to see Sting's retirement match in AEW. That made sense because Sting spent a lot of time in Greensboro as part of the NWA and Crockett and all that good stuff. So that made sense. But just doing it in just a random East Coast city and not in Boston where he's from there, but again, it's all about making the dollar.
Yeah, I don't know if John's real happy with WWE in this retirement run, but Washington put in the biggest bid. That's what it came down to. They outbid Boston.
And that's the other thing with all the trying to get cities to bid. I think it will eventually backfire on them because, like you said, the TV ratings have not been good for either Raw or SmackDown. Now, Raw, we don't really see much because, of course, it's on Netflix here in the U.S. But SmackDown on USA Network, their ratings have been going down. And I think that's going to come back to bite them. Look, Tony Khan, he made the call. They're doing smaller venues. They're having a good run. They're at the 2300 arena currently, the old ECW arena.
Mm-hmm.
They're having a pretty good run. So it's going to be one of those things that it may take a little while, but I think it could end up hurting WWE in the long run.
Phil, is this an opening that AEW and Tony Khan needed? Is this a chance for them PR wise and reaching out to people to maybe make a push? I mean, there's still such a long way to go for them to catch them, but my eyes, this could be a real turning point if WWE pushes this too far.
Mm-hmm. So there's a couple parts of my brain that I've been thinking about for this week because like you said, Tony Khan has said he wouldn't compete on the same weekend of WrestleMania. That's WrestleMania. Leave it to WWE. I think to announce anything that AEW would want to do for that weekend is too premature. I do think if they were to announce, well, we're going to do then something the weekend before, well, WWE is going to counter program. Like that's the easiest. That's the worst thing I think they can do. I think they should run then on that day in the evening slot because at best WWE would record it during evening Saudi Arabia time, which is 7 hours ahead of East Coast in the United States. That they would delay the broadcast of it at best to then meet the evening time,
which would be a disaster, by the way.
Right. So part of me says, let WWE do what they're going to do. Let them do their NXT pay-per-views, all the stuff that's going to take place during the course of the day. The WrestleMania will be earlier. Okay, AEW, you have an opportunity to take over the evening slot, but don't announce it for up a little bit closer because there's still a chance that WWE could turn around and go, you know what, after feedback from fans, because we're listening to you just like we did in New Orleans, even though they didn't, we're going to change venue and we're going to keep it in the United States, but we're going to give Saudi Arabia we're going to give them WrestleMania Backlash. Or something like that. I feel like there's still play in motion on what could actually end up in 2 years. So don't talk about it. My worry is Tony Khan has the attention span of a flea, and that he will make a decision today that will impact, that he'll announce tomorrow, that will impact the next 2 years of AEW direction. And I'm like, I don't think you all are at a place right now for this.
Oh, I don't think he's got an attention span of a flea, Phil Stamper. That's a little harsh. I think he's learning. I think he's learning
a bit, but
Yeah, it's
not much.
And
But-
also,
but
you
I
just
agree with
mentioned
Phil.
New Orleans. How does New Orleans feel about this? I mean,
I was thinking that too.
they've got
Oh.
now they've had 2 WrestleManias taken away from them.
Yeah, they can't be happy. Hey, you know what? AEW in the Superdome, baby.
I don't know if I'd run
Oh.
Superdome. Maybe Lakefront.
Oh, Mercedes Benz, but
and I love New Orleans. That was my very first Super Bowl. I did a WrestleMania. My very first Super Bowl there. It was there as well. 47 Ravens Niners. I love New Orleans. So yes, and that might be where AEW decides, or in AEW and everybody else, let's run New Orleans, because WWE has now tossed them aside for the second time. They tossed them aside so they can do next year's WrestleMania in Vegas again. Now toss them aside again so they can take 43 to Saudi. So hey, AEW, WrestleCon, everybody else, let's run New Orleans.
you want to really chap them? Do it here. Do it here in Las Vegas. That would make them so angry to have them doing a counter programming in Las Vegas on WrestleMania weekend. Oh my God. But I Phil, I would say on your point about countering them, it would be very difficult, I think, for WWE logistically. If AEW and all the indies got together and decided they're going to do shows that weekend and announce it like a month or 6 weeks beforehand, WWE has a whole mess of events that go around that, and they try to keep the whole team together if possible. So for them to have to split their production teams, and there's so much work that goes into building the sets and setting everything up all around the city that they do, I don't think they could spare the gang to say have NXT in Tampa or something like that.
Right.
It would be very difficult to pull something like that off.
Was it WrestleMania? Oh my gosh, I'm forgetting my own history. WrestleMania 2 or 3 that they did multiple cities. I mean,
2.
it was
2. It was 2.
Okay.
2.
thinking 2,
Chicago. Was it Chicago, LA, and was it New York?
New York. Yeah, they
And
were messed up.
Logistically, it was a nightmare for them, but they did it. And so, like, do they do something like that? Where, oh yeah, we're doing WrestleMania in Dubai, but WrestleMania After Dark is in Las Vegas. There's still, I think there's still some plays that are going to be made that we aren't seeing yet. Because I also don't think the WWE is going to take the same crew that they do normally out there, which I don't think is their full crew. I don't think they're going to do a citywide takeover in the way that they normally do it, because it's literally on the other side of the world. So I think they are going to have a presence for sure, largely supported by the government and steps they are going to take to do things to the city to get ready. I don't think the WWE will lead that charge in the same way that they've done in other cities here in the U.S.
Yeah. And well, that can mean they're going to leave money off the table, and those ticket yields will go down. Look out for falling ticket yields. All right, let's take a break. Before we do, though, I do want to remind everybody, there's footy football going on today and all sorts of other sports, and you got to make some money. Plus, you can bet on pro wrestling at betonline.ag. All you have to do is go to markhokeshow.com, click on one of those massive banners, and put in the code BOL1000, and you will get a 50% matching bonus up to $1,000 deposit. So if you put in $1,000, you get $500. The odds for some of the odds for All Out and WrestlePalooza are up right now, so you can check that out. Plus, you can bet on all your other sports and all these other insane sports that they like to bet on, like lacrosse, snooker, volleyball, Aussie rules football. It's all there. Check it out. Go to markhokeshow.com and click on the betonline.ag banner and get that big bonus today. All right, let's take a break. And when we come back, we've got all sorts of 2 pay-per-views coming up this weekend. We've got a new champ in AAA. I guess nobody wants to be champion in WWE anymore. They got to take all the belts. Stick around, everybody. We got a whole lot more on the Mark Hoke Show. Phil Stamper, Coach Rosey, Stu Myrick. We'll be right back.
We're here with Chuck, founder of Dollar Loan Center. So what's the catch on this free week of interest?
If you're a new customer, the first week's interest is on us. It's free to apply and there's no other fees. So I guess the catch is you got to be a first-time customer. Think of it as a free trial. No matter how much you borrow, if you don't dig it, all you need to do is pay back the principal within a week, and that's it. No interest, no fees. It allows folks to see how much they can save, how much more we lend, and our flexibility for them to pay it back, even if you need up to a year.
Thanks, Chuck. DLC lends up to $5,000 in minutes, and you can get your cash in person at one of our 70 locations, on our website, don'tbebroke.com, or even over the phone with one of our helpful, real staff members. You're gonna love Dollar Loan Center.
Hi, I'm Sherry, owner of LifeSource Water. Here in Vegas, undrinkable, harsh tap water is a way of life, but it doesn't have to be. Our whole house water system is the home appliance you'll love using every day. LifeSource builds every system, installs it, and offers factory direct pricing. Now we are offering a double dip in savings. Free basic installation plus an extra $250 off. That's up to $1,200 in savings. Call our factory at 1-800-WATER-99 or visit LifeSourceWater.com. Hurry, offer ends September 30.
Warranty limitations apply.
Honey, is our car still under warranty?
No, not anymore.
My sister just got an extended service plan from Ox Car Care.
Ox Car Care?
Yeah, Ox will cover our repair bills if anything happens to our car, new brakes, a transmission, AC, or engine problems. Plus, Ox Car Care offers free oil changes, tire rotation, and roadside assistance.
Wait a minute, we pay nothing on the repairs? Ox gets it fixed for us? Free oil changes, free tire rotation, and free roadside assistance? What's the number?
800-230-8357. Ox has a 30-day money-back guarantee and an A-plus rating with the Better Business Bureau. They handle their claims from start to finish, unlike other warranty companies. We should call now, 800-230-8357.
The last thing we need is an unexpected car repair bill. I'm calling Ox Car Care now.
Call Ox Car Care for your free quote. 800-230-8357. Ask about senior and military discounts. Don't get stuck with a major car repair bill. Call Ox Car Care, 800-230-8357 or oxcarcare.com.
Dear road rivals, Toyota offers tons of extra with Toyota Care. Our no-cost maintenance plan good for 2 years or 25,000 miles. No-cost oil changes, tire rotations, and more. That's a whole lot of extra at no cost from Toyota. Kia and Ford charge extra for maintenance, and that's the kind of extra nobody needs. Try harder. Toyota.
Based on manufacturer's data as of 3/4/2025, covers all factory scheduled service for 2 years or 25,000 miles, whichever occurs first. See participating dealer for coverage details.
Visit your Southern Nevada Toyota dealer today. Toyota, let's go places.
1015 FM KDAWN. You're listening to the #1 professional wrestling radio show in Vegas, The Mark Hoke Show. The Mark Hoke Show. Now, here again is Mark Hoke.
Yeah, it's a little old. Got some great stuff going on in pro wrestling, but get ready for hour number 2 coming up, as we are going to be having from Fox Across America and Fox News Saturday night, one of the funniest guys around. Jimmy Failla is going to be joining us on the show. Interesting how that worked out, but we're going to be speaking to Jimmy about, everything he's got going on. And don't forget, he's going to be down at the Durango on November 29th. Get your tickets, man. They are going quick. They had to add a show because Jimmy's that awesome. So get your tickets on Ticketmaster. And of course, you can check it all out. Stations Casinos Live, I believe, is the site. Let me get that right. Stationcasinoslive.com. Get information about Jimmy and his Everybody Calm Down tour. Truer words never spoken. All right, guys. So coming up here, give me 1 second. Let me pull my notes back. Actually, in Vegas, we had a new champion crowned last night. That's right. 2 nights ago. It was Dominic Mysterio, Dirty Dom. claims the AAA championship. Of course, WWE now owns the Mexican promotion AAA, and he is a big winner. Dirty Dom even made his dad put the belt on him, which was an interesting little finish to the night. It was pretty cool. But we did get robbed, by the way, with Xavier Woods not wrestling in the New Day of having a substitution there with Grayson Waller. But Stu, first, what'd you think?
I mean, you kind of saw this coming, and I'm a Vikingo fan. You know, all the times he showed up in AEW, loved watching him. So, but you kind of saw this coming, and I get it. It's WWE trying to WWE up AAA. So you take the belt off Vikingo, put it on Dominic. There was the little blur. You know, I think Dominic was bragging about 2 belts, and then there was the post of his dad when he had the tag title and the cruiserweight title in WCW. So there's that. It is what it is. That's whatever they're gonna. I'm fearful, and I think this is the beginning of it. AAA will just become another WWE brand, like Raw and SmackDown and NXT. It'll just be another brand, and there we go.
Coach, what do you think of that? And is TNA headed down the same road, by the way?
Yes, I do agree. I mean, the production value of AAA has gone up immensely just by the partnership. JBL coming in doing, the announcing, doing some of the play-by-play, gives them instant credibility. So they get to keep part of their ownership. TNA will have some of their power, but they're under that umbrella. When you guys were talking about all that competition stuff, everyone just needs to get it out of their mind. No one's going to beat WWE. With the backing of TKO, there's not going to be an 83 weeks coming in the near future where somebody takes over WWE. So I think people just need to stay in their lane, do what's best for their promotion. And if that includes working with WWE, by all means, do what's best for you. And it was successful. Friday night was great, and TNA's improved. So the rub has been helping.
Yeah, but Phil, does it just make these promotions WWE light?
To a degree. I think it makes the representation WWE, which has people, the people have questions, Trick as TNA champion, does that discredit everybody else in TNA and only put over somebody from the WWE? That sort of seems to be the lingering question. Certainly, it gives more eyes on the product, like absolutely, and that's the biggest benefit to the companies to do work with WWE. In these cases, it isn't just doing work. In the AAA's case, they bought AAA.
Yeah, it's
so
not a partnership. They bought them.
Right. Right. So it's theirs. They own it. I think there's a lot of praise for that. They got these great ratings for Worlds Collide. They had, I think, 1.2 million views is what the report I saw. At the same time, that's because they have a huge market presence as AAA. What were they having before that? And what was the difference that the WWE audience made to that? And so, of course, it's a WWE owned brand, so they're going to put WWE folks on it. Going in and sort of going, okay, and the titles are ours too, feels a little disingenuous to the product that they've been building. But I know that there's a whole rest of a product out there other than what we're seeing with the WWE wrestler inclusions.
Yeah, it's going to be fascinating to see where this all ends up, because I just feel like the soul of AAA and the soul of TNA are getting ripped out here, and it's too bad, because I think it was good to have that separation. But well, once again, money talks, boys. Money talks. All right, we are wrapping up our number 1. I saw Jesse Hyde had a comment. We'll get to that later, and I will throw in here real quick. Chris Wynn, radio comrade here in Las Vegas, the Hokester. Boom. Good to see you, Chris. Thanks for coming in. All right. Jimmy Failla coming up, hour number 2. This is going to be a lot of fun, boys, for the most part. I'm sure we're going to have to ask him a couple of tough questions, but otherwise, it's going to be great to have Jimmy on the show. Looking forward to it. So stick around for hour number 2. Who are you guys sticking around real quick? Who's staying? I know,
Not
Coach,
me.
you're staying.
I
No,
got
Phil?
to think. I got to bounce.
Okay,
Yeah.
Phil and Stu have to go. So Coach Rosey and I are going to take you through hour number 2. Thanks for being with us. Stick around, everybody. We got a whole lot more. Follow us on X at Mark Hoke Show, Facebook, The Mark Hoke Show, YouTube, The Mark Hoke Show. We'll be back. Hour number 2, Jimmy Failla. We return.
Mark Hoke Show. Follow us on Twitter at Mark Hoke Show. Like us on Facebook at The Mark Hoke Show. And visit markhokeshow.com to keep up with everything happening with the show. And remember to check out all of our archive shows on YouTube at The Mark Hoke Show and download our podcasts at markhokeshow.podbean.com and all your favorite podcast outlets. So join the Mark Hoke Show family today, and thanks for listening.
Nevada businesses have been through some tough times, and we've been right here with you through thick and thin, helping self-insured groups get the best workers' comp programs, affordable coverage that meets your needs, and a company that stands by you all the way. From helping establish safety programs to conducting inspections, we are here when you need us. Pro Group Management is the national award-winning team you can trust to stay with you. After all, we've been here with you for over 20 years, through good economic times and bad. Find out how to have Pro Group Management work for you. Visit our website at pgmnv.com to receive a free cost savings analysis now. That's pgmnv.com. Or call our Las Vegas office at 702-740-4380. Pro Group Management. Workers' comp that works for you.
If you need to sell your house,
talk to Aaron Taylor.
You want to sell it fast and get the most cash, talk to Aaron Taylor,
the real estate guy.
What's up, Las Vegas? Aaron Taylor, the real estate guy. And Jacob Taylor here. Right now, interest rates have created hesitation. But here's the reality. We all know they're coming down.
That's right, Dad. And at the Real Estate Guy, we give you every advantage possible.
Sellers will front the cost for repairs and even give you cash advances with no interest, so you walk away with top dollar.
Buyers, we negotiate the best deals, and our specialized team knows the new home market inside and out.
And if you need speed, we'll even buy distressed homes for cash in 24 hours. No gimmicks, just solutions built to help you move decisively.
Don't get caught reacting. Be the smart one. Call the Real Estate Guys today before the market moves without you.
Call 702-310-6683. That's 702-310-MOVE. eXp Realty, license number 388886. Call for details.
talk to Aaron Taylor,
the real estate guy.
Ready to hit the road in a new ride? One Nevada Credit Union believes your life should be rewarded. With a new or refinanced auto loan, One Nevada will let you skip payments for 90 days. You really can drive now and pay later. At One Nevada, we offer freedom from payment stress and more money in your pocket. So you spend less time worrying about financing and more time enjoying the drive. Check out the benefits of a One Nevada auto loan today at onenevada.org. Federally insured by NCUA, equal opportunity lender.
Welcome to Yoga for Beginners, where we say yes to less stress and no to auto loan payments.
What? Say yes to less stress with One Nevada Credit Union's 90-day no pay. Finance your new or used car with us, or move your current auto loan and don't make any payments for 90 days. That could be close to $4,000 in your pocket. Say no to payments and yes to less stress with One Nevada Credit Union's 90-day no pay auto loans. Visit onenevada.org today. Federally insured by NCUA.
KMXP HD3 Henderson, K260HCS Las Vegas, 1015 FM KDAWN. Always live on the free Odyssey app.
New information about Charlie Kirk's suspected assassin. I'm Jack Callahan, Fox News. Fox's Garrett Tenney reports from outside the county jail in Spanish Fork, Utah.
We have learned that the roommate of the alleged shooter is actually a romantic partner who is a male transitioning to a female. FBI sources tell Fox that the roommate has been extremely cooperative and, quote, had no idea their significant other was planning to assassinate Charlie Kirk. Those sources also tell Fox that when the alleged shooter's father confronted him about Kirk's murder, he said he wanted to kill himself rather than turn himself in. But we know it was the father and a minister the family knew that were able to get him to surrender. We also know there are ongoing discussions at the Department of Justice about potentially filing federal charges against him as well. And officials have said repeatedly that the death penalty will be on the table in this case.
Utah's Governor Spencer Cox telling ABC News Robinson is refusing to cooperate with investigators. Turning Point USA says Kirk's funeral will be held next Sunday in Arizona, with President Trump expected to attend. A suspect is now in custody for the shooting of a Georgia police captain, as Fox's Deborah Valentine reports.
Police say Timothy Craig Ramsey was taken into custody Saturday evening following an hours-long standoff. The standoff followed a tip about a suspicious person. Police Chief Michael Otis Early says Ramsey is accused of shooting McKaysville Police Captain Brantley Worley during a traffic stop.
That brutally shot my officer in the face.
The chief says Ramsey was apprehended in a wooded area just outside McKaysville city limits. Deborah Valentine, Fox News.
Captain Worley, last listed as critical. The man accused of trying to assassinate then-candidate Trump in West Palm Beach, Florida last year, back in court tomorrow. Ryan Ruth facing multiple federal charges, including the attempted assassination of a major presidential candidate. America is listening to Fox News.
You never know who might be taking the quiz.
I'm Clay Aiken.
I am Dre DeMatteo.
Hey, everybody, it's Billy Baldwin.
Hey, everyone, it's Patricia Heaton.
Hey, everyone, I'm Nicole Palizzi.
Hey, everyone, it's Candace Bushnell.
Hey, everyone, it's Henry Golding.
Hey, everyone, it's Zachary Levi. Everybody's Kevin Nealon, and it's time to take the quiz.
5 questions in less than 5 minutes every day. Listen and follow at thequiz.fox.
Thank you for taking the quiz.
Connect to Fox News Audio on the Fox News app. Listen to hear your favorite hosts like Brian Kilmeade, Jimmy Failla, and Guy Benson standing up for what's right, live and via podcast. Just click listen, then swipe right and hear the latest news updates on your time. And scroll down to hear the latest podcasts from Fox News. And it's even easier to listen in the car with Apple CarPlay and Android Auto. Get programming alerts and notifications. Fox News Audio is on the Fox News app. The voices America trusts. Download it now.
Today on Compass Media Network's coverage of the NFL, can Patrick Mahomes outduel Jalen Hurts this time around? It's the Chiefs and Eagles in a Super Bowl rematch. If it's the NFL, it's right here. Coverage starts at 12:45 on KDAWN.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the #1 professional wrestling radio show in Las Vegas. This is the Mark Hoke Show. The Mark Hoke Show. Bell with the best in professional wrestling news, entertainment, and lots of Sin City surprises from inside the squared circle. Now, let's get to all the exciting pro wrestling action and bring on the host. Here is Mark Hoke.
And we are back for hour number 2 of the Mark Hoke Show. Very happy to have you joining us here on KDAWN 101.5 FM, the talk of Las Vegas. Also on the Odyssey app. If you don't have the Odyssey app, well, shame on you. Your ancestors are looking down on you very poorly. Go get that app right now. AUDACY. You can listen to all the great shows on KDAWN and from around the Odyssey universe and a whole lot more. AUDACY. Get that app. We are also live streaming on YouTube, X, and Facebook. If you want to join us in there, have any questions for us, fire away, or just want to, tell me my new lighting in the studio is looking good. Whatever you want, man, bring it. And I've got Coach Rosey along with me for the ride. Real Coach Rosey from Ad Free Shows. Coach, good to have you, sir.
Good to be seen, and good. I'm really looking forward to seeing Jimmy. He cracks me up.
Well, let's get him on right now. I got to tell you, I am so excited to have this guy on the show. He, of course, is on Fox Cross America here on KDAWN 101.5 FM, 6 to 8 p.m. I get to listen to him after I escape from the studio, getting done with Steve Sanchez, and actually enjoy the show. He's awesome. Also, of course, Fox News Saturday night, that airs on at 7 p.m. Pacific time on the Fox network. And he is going to be in town. I mean, I know it's hard to pull Jimmy over to Las Vegas. I'm sure it's a struggle, but he will be at the Durango Hotel and Casino on November 29th. They sold so many tickets, they added a show. They're going to be opening up the Agave Ballroom over there, 6 and 8 p.m. on November 29th. I am honored to welcome in Jimmy Failla. Jimmy, how are you, sir?
Damn, I'm better now. That was a hot intro, Hoke.
Dude.
So many nice things were said. You read them just the way I wrote them down.
I didn't tell him about your smelly cab, though.
Oh, listen, my cab, I got to be honest. I don't know if my cab smells. I'm not kidding. Because when I was a cab driver, the first time I opened the door, I smelled something that was so concerning. I breathed out of my mouth for all 10 years. I'm not kidding. It was something, I don't know if there's things you pick up in a New York City cab, pantless time travelers and all that crazy stuff I talk about. But yes, if you like the smell of Taliban and failure, you'd love it. Oh, it's great.
Oh, I drive Uber too in town. So I get that smell in my car. It's not.
It's not the cabbie. This is what I used to think when I was a civilian. I'd be like, wow, these cabbies got to take a shower. And I don't doubt some of them do. But the problem is you're picking up 50 other people, you know, and that's the real issue in New York City is you are picking up people from all over this planet and about 3 planets you've never heard of. Straight up. It's definitely out there.
Yeah.
If you were still driving a cab, would you have a beef with these Lyft and Uber drivers trying to step in on your turf?
No, I'll tell you why. This is the thing. Okay. It's the same amount of passengers. Like they didn't create additional passengers. They created additional drivers. But the reason cabbies don't mind the Lyfts and the Ubers on the road is it's made it like a softer division. You know how in sports, if you're in a hard division, every team you go up against twice a year is really good. The difference between Lyft drivers and cab drivers is the Lyft drivers are using their personal vehicles. So they're terrified out on the road. They got to drive their kid to school in that thing in the morning, or they got to take their wife to work or go to the train station. Your cab is just a population control device. If I blew that cab up 3 hours into my shift, they would peel off the medallion with a crowbar and just slap it on a new Ford Crown Victoria. It's like NASCAR, and they just shove you right back out onto pit row. So we drive more aggressively. I actually like them, even now, although I'm an ex-cabbie, because getting around New York, we have less cab drivers. We have more Uber drivers now. But like I said, it's a soft division. It's a weak schedule. So my commute's a little easier. How about that?
Well, there you go. I can't imagine you're hopping in a cab anytime soon, though, to drive anyway.
I don't know. If you saw last night's TV show, I don't know. I'm kidding. You got a little rowdy in that last block. I might have to go back to cab driving. We'll find out.
And I do want to say, when you came on KDAWN, and I was like, oh, this is going to be interesting because I hadn't really listened to your radio show that much. But it is a very good show, Jimmy. And I want to give you credit. I mean, even my daughter likes to listen to it. She's 16, going on 17. So you have everybody covered. It's a show that I think that no matter what side of the issues you're on, you invite everybody in and, talk it out and bring humor into this discussion that, man, sometimes it's not so humorous.
Yeah, absolutely. But the one thing I would say is the reason the show connects with so many different people is there's a commonality amongst all of them. It's that if they listen to me for 3 hours, they all believe they can get one of these shows too. That's what it is. So it's like 16-year-olds want to work in radio, 58-year-olds want to work in radio. So we have a broad demographic because I am inspirational. You listen to me and they're like, what is this guy talking about right now? Because a lot of what I'm doing to cover politics is, I say this on the air, so this is not new, but I say that I'm giving you the news the way you give a dog its medicine. Do you know how if you pulled out the pill, the dog ain't going to eat it? But if you wrapped it in peanut butter, the tail wags and it just chews it right down. That's kind of how I try to cover politics and world events. I'm trying to wrap it in so much peanut butter or whatever the heck you got to do to make it a little bit easier to digest. And that is the actual secret sauce of the show. So we're just trying to, we're trying to trick you into following politics, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I will say I do feel much better about my broadcasting skills after I listen to your show too.
Hey, man, no, I'll take the shot right off the We're 8 or 10 minutes into this thing. Absolutely. I feel like that big elbow should have came earlier, but I'll take it.
Hey, I ease everybody in a little bit and then I sneak it in.
You just hit me with the Mr. Fuji dust right in the eyes.
Oh,
see anything.
Very, And before we get into your wrestling fandom, which you've brought up on the show, I do want to ask you a little bit about this week because it has been a very difficult week for all of us, and especially for you guys in the Fox family with what happened to Charlie Kirk. Tell us a little bit about how you've been feeling about this, and what you've been doing to get through it.
I mean, a big thing is at Fox, what you notice on the channel is it is a community. It's not a TV channel. We're the only network where you'll see like the morning show host appearing on a primetime show. You'll see Brian Kilmeade host Fox and Friends, but you'll see him on my show, or you'll see him on Gutfeld. Any millions of examples I could give you about that is every show. Say Emily Compagno's on Outnumbered, but you might see her on The Five. You might see her on My Fight. You might see her on Gutfeld. You might see her on Hannity. We all do each other's shows on Fox. That's what makes the channel so much different, is it's a community. We all know each other. So the way forward right now is you're surrounded by, a collective of people who kind of feel the same way about this. So there's some strength in that. But we feel a bigger obligation in this moment, like not to ourselves, but we feel like, if nothing else, this is a really teachable moment for America. And what I mean by that is we understand, you understand, I understand, Charlie Kirk got shot because there's a lot of people out there that have been taught political disagreement is a call to violence. That's what they believe. They believe if someone doesn't agree with you on gun issues, it's because they want you shot. If someone doesn't believe you on trans issues, it's because they want to erase trans people, commit trans genocide. They did this during the summer of 2020. We supported the police. They said that was racist. But let's be very clear. If you take away the police, the people you're harming the most are the minority communities. So there's an intellectual validation for the people like us who have been saying forever that speech is not violence, and stop saying it is, because something bad is going to happen. We can't take any joy in saying, gee, something bad happened, because it happened to a phenomenal person. And even if it happened to a so-so person, it still wouldn't be a good thing. There's no place for violence in our politics. Of hoping people get it now, because he was killed by people who called him a fascist. But as you know, the textbook definition of fascism is silencing your political opponents with using violence to silence people you disagree with. So they are actually and actively engaged in their own form of fascism. And I feel like the deliverable here is I want to believe society is going to move forward with a little more perspective, because we haven't had it. We haven't had it for a while. A lot, like when you look at the reaction to Charlie's death, there are a lot of disgusting people celebrating it, but it's because they truly believe what they were told about him. They didn't go watch the videos of him debating trans people on campus. He doesn't show up and go, ew, screw you. You have no right to live. He says, I disagree. You talk about it. You humanize the differences. Same thing with any other issue, whether it's a pro-choice, pro-life issue. So people who weren't consuming his content, but were forming a strong emotional conviction about it, will hopefully be more inclined to maybe get more of the facts before they act like they did on this one. Because, this was horrific. It was completely unnecessary. And it was young people have been lied to. Nobody on the right wants to kill you. If you're trans, we don't care. We don't ideally want you in the women's room if we have any say. But it doesn't mean you don't have the right to go to the bathroom somewhere, or compete in sports somewhere. It just means we have a difference of opinion. But the left for too long has characterized that as hate, because what happens if you tell people those guys hate you, those guys are dangerous, those guys are literally Hitler, then a lot of good people hear that and without go, well, gee, I don't want to vote for Hitler, so I guess I'll just be a liberal then. Gee, I don't want to be with these transphobes, I guess I'll be a liberal then. And that's how they've gotten votes for a long time. But because they've leaned in so hard, people are now acting on this. They think they're, the people who shot at Charlie Kirk think they're somehow like protecting trans people. Like, that doesn't make sense to me. It shouldn't make sense to anybody, I think, is the point.
Yeah. And unfortunately, I had to deal with some of this personally, because one teacher at my daughter's school made a comment. And then yesterday, they actually let him in the school, gave him extra security. And then one of the students brought a gun in and tried to shoot him.
Sheesh.
Yeah. I'll have to tell you that story. You guys, that might be interesting for your listeners out there. But but I think, to me, and this will be the last politics question, then we're going to talk wrestling. But to me, I feel like I'm in the movie They Live with Roddy Piper. And I'm assuming you've seen that, right?
Yeah, of course. Come on.
Yeah.
Snubs of our time. I'm kidding.
Yeah. But it's I'm seeing all these people out there that are just saying these terrible things, and it is that you just wouldn't expect. You see so many teachers, doctors, soldiers. It's everywhere, and man, that's got to stop. It's got to stop. I am at my wit's end with it.
Yeah, that's the point. Is there's a lot of missing perspective. Like those teachers, the people that are other lives depend on. To know that they feel that way really speaks to just how far the rot went, and that it is institutional, especially in academia. And what's crazy about it is, again, nobody who says like this is a fascist, this is a racist, nobody saying that can prove that, like can show you the clip that would make him the fascist or the racist or anything else. It's like when they talk about, everybody likes to give you that one sentence where Charlie said he could accept a certain number of gun deaths a year in order for retain our Second Amendment rights. The full quote is a very large commentary on how a society operates. He was making a larger point. He said 50,000 people die a year in automobiles. Okay, for whatever reason, as a country, we're not okay with those deaths, but we've accepted it as a cost of being able to travel quicker by car. And the point he was trying to make when it came to guns is we're not happy any of those individual people who died. We're not indifferent to them. But imagine how many more deaths would be out there if we didn't have the gun to protect ourselves from the criminal or, heaven forbid, a tyrannical government. So what they've always done on the left, and you know this, is they'll take a sentence out of 75 other sentences and frame it just right so everybody can put the person in the exact box they want. Doesn't care if anybody gets shot, and that's everybody's reaction. Oh, Charlie Kirk got shot. Isn't that great? He said he doesn't care if anybody gets shot, but he didn't say that is the point.
Right.
And that's what I'm hoping. I'm hoping that this moment and the backlash we've seen, because people are losing their jobs, which I think is amazing. Again, and you've probably seen the meme. If you're okay with people getting shot because of their political views, then you should absolutely be fine getting fired for yours. If the violence is going to be okay, how could the unemployment not? And that's the road we're going down if they don't just embrace just a little more perspective. That's all this is. It's, it's that one missing note of perspective, which is like, this guy's Hitler. Oh, how? Why? And if you can't say how or why, then you should be done with this guy's Hitler. And that's what we're hoping for. Maybe a more factual dialogue going forward.
Now let's pray that you're right and all this is done. And we had to say some prayers because we lost Hulk Hogan a little while ago.
Oh man, the Hulk.
And I know I listened to your show that day, and I was a huge Hulkamaniac. He was an inspiration to me in junior high and high school to get in shape. Not that you can see it now, but and really help build my confidence. And you told a story on your show about how you and your friends were modeling what you were doing after Hogan too.
Yeah, but in so many ways. So I modeled a few things. First of all, on the small scale, we were just old school backyard wrestlers, jumping off fences, clotheslining each other, hitting each other with lunch boxes. In that regard, yes. We did have the Hulkamania website at one point. Yes. I had the Hulk Hogan thumb wrestlers, one of which is still on my desk at Fox. Had all the toys. Like me and the Hulkster go back to Thunder Lips in Rocky 3.
Yeah.
And the first big match was he beat the Iron Sheik at Madison Square Garden to win the title. He escaped the camel clutch. And the thing about the Hulkster that so many people gravitated to in the 80s is we were at the height of the Cold War, and he was the real American, man. I mean, when you think about it, and the fact that Trump went with Marco Rubio as Secretary of State, when the Hulkster had the Russians, the Iranians, Nikolai Volkov, Boris Zukov, the Iron Sheik. At one point, he went down into the on Kamala, the Ugandan giant, who was technically from parts unknown. But the point is, Hulk Hogan defended the homeland. So you could argue he could have been Secretary of State.
That's great. Let me, Coach, do you have a question for Jimmy? And then I'll keep it rolling.
Yeah, Jimmy, if you could go back to the 80s, what would be your match that you'd like to go back to see, or what feud really sparked your fandom whether it was the Hulkster, maybe it was tag team. I don't know, but
there's a thing.
What made you tick?
I'm going to tell you this. As a comedian, I really loved Rodney Dangerfield. And you know how Rodney Dangerfield would, he didn't get no respect.
Right.
So oddly enough, my favorite wrestler was a B wrestler named Special Delivery Jones.
Oh, SD Jones. Absolutely.
And SD Jones, used to be on the wrong end of a lot of matches.
WrestleMania, first one.
I know, but I loved. So I could watch him do anything. But if we were going to talk about it, because I was, even the Intercontinental title was a big deal to me. So if you remember the reign of Ricky the Dragon Steamboat, that was
I'm 51.
Oh yeah, so So that whole era was a really big deal to me. I loved the Dragon, but I was Polish, so my family liked Ivan Putski.
Yeah.
Polish Hammer, and he used to move his pecs in the ring.
Right.
I'm sure you remember that. I think if I wanted to go back, I'd go back for the theatrics. So the era of wrestling that was really like so over the top, like Ravishing Rick Rude making out with chicks after he, or Brutus the Barber cutting somebody's hair. I love that extra era of wrestling where it wasn't enough to come in and beat a guy. You had to make out with a chick or let your snake slather over him like Jake the Snake. So that's where I'd want to be. If you could have froze me in time as a wrestling fan, the Hulkster has to be the champ. We probably peaked as a country with that body slam of Andre the Giant. That was probably the high water mark for America. You get the tail end of the administration. The Cosbys were still held in our good graces. Think about it. Bill Cosby in that era had 96 million viewers on Thursday nights, none of which would allow him to make them a drink today. Watch the show. He's a good comedian, not the best bartender. But that was the era, Coach. That was my era. Did you have a guy in that era? Because I even like the managers. Go ahead.
I was a Ric Flair guy.
Oh, yeah.
I had a good father, but my confidence wasn't the best. And when the Nature Boy got on the mic, he gave me a lot of this fake bravado, and it carried me into sometimes some successful fights as a kid, sometimes some ass whoopings. But Ric Flair was my guy in the Four Horsemen.
I loved Flair.
Yeah.
I liked, but I liked because of how much I didn't like him. The Brain. I like Bobby the Brain Heenan. He used to piss me off. Bobby the Brain, like Mr. Fuji, I found interesting. Like I always knew he was up to no good, but the Brain, he really leaned in. I like he was the one guy I probably would have swung at if I saw him.
Yeah, for sure. Now, one other thing, I'm a regular Fox viewer, but I'm even more invested now because of Real American Freestyle and what Eric Bischoff and the vision of Hulk Hogan has brought with the RAF 01. Did you get a chance to watch it? And what do you think of what's coming down the road for them?
Well, I'm pumped up for what's coming down the road. I wish it would have been the Hulkster involved. I've only seen the trailers, but it's funny because the people who actually run Fox Nation, I'm talking president, vice president, we were talking about this in a bar the other day at a Fox event. And I guess they filmed the first event was in Cleveland. Does that sound accurate?
Yes.
And they were like, dude, this thing was incredible. Like the vibe, they said, was amazing. So I will watch it. The only thing I know right now is all the backstage stories about the tapings themselves, and especially the Cleveland event, which sounded like a blast, man. That sounded psyched. So I am psyched for what comes next. I like that the country's leaning back into this. I think it's good for us. And because I think, again, wrestling's one of those things that gave people a lot of perspective. Like if you watched wrestling, there were a lot of pro-American sentiments, and anything that was challenging that, in a heel capacity, was also met with a lot of disdain. And in a lot of ways, it was like a compass for us because it was just this very primitive understanding. Guy with the American flag, good. Guy with the hammer and sickle, bad. Like, I know that sounds primitive, but if you went to a college campus right now in an Ivy League school, they're probably not rooting for the guy with the American flag. So maybe Harvard needs to watch more pro wrestling. Maybe that's where the next event should be.
I think that would be a great idea. By the way, we're on with Jimmy Failla from Fox Across America and Fox News Saturday night. And once again, he'll be at the Durango coming up on the 29th of November. So be ready for that. Jimmy, the comedy in pro wrestling, there's been some great moments too. And I feel like doing comedy is one of the best ways to reach people. And, George Carlin was one of my favorites. even, growing up, I had got a bunch of his old albums, and, and you're really good at telling a story, making it funny, but at the same time, intertwining, some reality in there too. And I almost feel like, it's a very difficult art form, but when you do it right, you can reach more people with comedy sometimes than you can be in serious.
100%, because it's accessible. You know what I'm saying? Your points become a little more accessible if people are laughing at them. The magic trick to being good at stand-up is we have to find like these unacknowledged societal truths. So we're either telling jokes about something everyone knows and doesn't talk about, or something everyone knows and does talk about. But either way, in comedy, if they don't agree with the setup, they don't laugh at the punchline. So good comedians are good at finding very specific truths. Like that's something George Carlin would do well, is he has a bit, it kind of resonates right now because of the Charlie Kirk thing, where he's like, everybody who ever stood up on the world stage and called for peace and love got shot. He's like, it's crazy. He's like Gandhi, John Lennon, Abraham Lincoln, JFK. And he has this whole crazy laundry list. And listen, it could be partly coincidental, but when he frames it that way and you go, oh yeah, that's true about Gandhi. That's true about Lincoln. That's true about JFK. It then allows him to go in and write jokes about that thing, that very basic truth that he explained. And that's what makes comedy really effective in politics. Is if you're laughing, it's because the guys said a bunch of things you can't help but agree with. And if you agree with them, it becomes persuasive without asking to be. You know what I'm saying? Like I get on the radio every day and I say, I'm up front. I'm like, my goal is not to make you vote Republican 3 hours from now. I'm just trying to be like a spiritual cup of coffee to pick up your workday or your commute or whatever you happen to be. But by default, you're probably going to wind up agreeing with me, because I'm telling you really basic truths. And don't believe me, it's not like a brilliant strategy. It's just my highest level of education is like 9th grade. So I couldn't do the academic show. Like if that was a business move, I'd be in a lot of trouble. You know what I'm saying?
I thought you went to Nassau Community College for a little while.
Enrolled.
You enrolled. Okay.
No.
Okay.
I went, meaning I enrolled. I stayed on my parents' health care. I took bowling. I took, I'm not kidding. I took intro to Xbox. I was there. I'm not telling you I wasn't there. But most of what I've learned, honest, for real, in my adult life is just from driving a cab. Because you talk to so many people from so many different jobs, who give you a lot of insights into like their own little worlds and stuff.
Yeah, well, we're going to get some insights into you when you get out here to Las Vegas on November 29th. Dan, they had to add a show for this thing at the Durango for you. I mean, we were just looking forward to coming over at 7 o'clock, and now I'm going to have to take off work to get to the 6 o'clock show.
Come on, man.
Everybody's excited about you coming to the Durango Hotel and Casino.
It's a big deal too, because my comedy shows are unique. Anytime I perform in Vegas, you not only get to see me on stage, but after I'm done gambling, you get to see me turning tricks in the parking lot.
Wow.
So every level of performance I have, you'll see me as a male comedian. You'll see me as a female strip walker around 6 or 7 a.m. You started by saying I have a lot of range. I don't think you realize just how much, Mark. I don't think you did.
And I was going to ask to hang out with you after the show. Now I got to think about that.
And now I definitely do want to hang out with you.
Yeah, you do. Hear it. Let's go.
Yeah, we'll go hit the blade.
I love that. No, I can't wait.
Yeah, it is going to be an awesome time. We're looking forward to having you here. And, and I got to say, we're really happy to have you on KDAWN here too. And for those of you out there listening, if you haven't listened to Jimmy's show, I'm telling you, you're missing something terrific. It's great radio, and he's going to make you smile, but he's going to make you think too. And, it's amazing work that you do, Jimmy, and on the radio and TV too.
Oh, thanks, man. I'm trying over here, but I take no credit. It's the drugs. But thank you.
Oh, fair enough. Fair enough.
It's whatever it takes. That's funny.
Oh,
we all have our vices.
Yeah, he should have been hanging out the Iron Sheik. Apparently, he liked to do a little bit of.
He got down.
Oh, Jimmy. Well, hey, I want to thank you for taking the time to come on the Mark Hoke Show. We really do appreciate it, and can't wait to get to finally meet you out here in Vegas. I'm tired of listening to you on the show. I want to talk to you face to face.
Oh, yeah, no, it's going to be great. Like my goal is to have such a good time. They never invite us back. Okay, that is the goal. Like if they invite you back, we didn't go hard enough. We're going to burn it down. So buckle up. Let's go.
Well, I'll sneak you into a couple other clubs then. If they don't want you back at Durango, I know a few places we could probably get you in the door.
And I'll have I'll have my dollar bills ready. Sounds good.
Yeah.
Fair enough. Well, Jimmy, thanks so much for coming on. We do appreciate it. Can't wait to see you on November 29th, my friend.
You too, my man. Take care, Mark. Take care, Coach. See you, fellas. Bye-bye.
You got it. There you go. Jimmy Failla, everybody. He will be here for those great shows over at the Durango, November 29th, 6 and 8 p.m. I said they added a show because they just sold so many tickets right off the bat. And it is the initial event at the Agave Theater over at the Durango. So we get to break it in, Coach. I'm excited, man.
Yeah, that'll be a good time.
Absolutely. All right. Well, we ran long on our break, so we've got to get to it. So we'll have a short segment coming up. But Coach Rosey and I'll be back to talk a little more pro wrestling with you on the Mark Hoke Show here on KDAWN 101.5 FM, the talk of Las Vegas. Thanks for being with us, everybody. We'll see you on the other side of the break. Stick around for more.
Personal injury law has been the same for a long time. Big egos, greed, and sleazy schemes. Big and loud doesn't always mean right. And the conventional mold doesn't define success. Goodbye, false quick buck promises. We've had enough. Welcome to Sam and Ash, the new standard for personal injury law, where things are done the right way. With integrity, experience, and authenticity, we're champions for the underdog. Life happens, and when you need help, you deserve a team without hidden agendas. A team that delivers real support and results. When you have both, your whole world can change. So if you've been hurt in a crash, call Sam and Ash, 702-303-0333. Sam and Ash, because you deserve what's right.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm, and Chuck McDowell definitely not an attorney. This is Chuck. If someone talked you into buying something really silly and you want to get out of that silly little thing, my advice, get the facts. Call me and I'll send you our timeshare exit kit absolutely free. Inside, you'll learn how timeshare works and all your options for cancellation.
Call Wesley now for your free timeshare exit information kit. 800-761-0000. That's 800-761-0000.
Paid for by Wesley Financial Group.
Life insurance. Why are you putting it off? Can't afford it? Too much hassle? Think you don't need it? There's lots of excuses for putting off life insurance. But if you weren't there, who would pay the mortgage and other bills? With Ethos, you could be covered in 10 minutes and boom, family protected. Ethos, fast and easy online term life insurance. Up to $2 million in coverage with no medical exam. Some policies as low as $1 a day. Answer a few health questions and get your free quote at ethos.com/play. That's ethos.com/play.
Actual price will depend on product and subscription plan. Featured products are compounded drug products, which the FDA does not approve or verify for safety, effectiveness, or quality. Prescription products require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. See website for details, restrictions, and important safety information.
Want a boost in and out of the bedroom? Hims has you covered. Introducing a new 2-in-1 approach to level up your game. Tadalafil for better bedroom performance and zinc for testosterone support. Put it all together and you've got what you need to turn things all the way up. Getting started is simple. Just go to hims.com/joy to start your free online visit. Through Hims, you can access ED treatments, including pills, chews, and more, 100% online. No office visits, no pharmacy lines. Just fill out a simple intake form and a licensed medical provider will determine if treatment's right for you. If prescribed, it ships free and discreetly to your door. Find affordable treatment options at up to 95% less than brand names at hims.com/joy. That's hims.com/joy, HIMS.com/JOY.
101.5 FM KDAWN. This is the Mark Hoke Show. The Mark Hoke Show. Here again, your host, Mark Hoke.
And we are back on the Mark Hoke Show here on KDAWN 101.5 FM, the talk of Las Vegas. Coach Rosey from Ad Free Shows along for the ride. That was fun. Jimmy's awesome.
Yeah. Good dude. It's nice to hear just an average dude that's willing to share his takes on things and makes it a lot more consumable and a lot more understanding to people when he puts the spin on it. So it's nice.
if you've never listened to his show, and if you download the Odyssey app, you can go back and listen to his shows. And he's also, like I said, on here from 6 to 8 p.m. Our time, obviously. And it's a great listen, and it's a lot of fun. But it provokes thought too. And I think no matter what side you're on, Jimmy's a guy that you can listen to. But I have to go back and watch some of his comedy specials that he's done. But I can't wait for these shows at the Durango. They're going to be a blast. I mean, I'm sure he's going to cut it loose like nobody's business. So we want to thank Jimmy for coming on the show, and we'll see him at the Durango on November 29th. Coach, it's going to be here. You ought to come up. It's Thanksgiving weekend. You're not doing anything.
No, there's no basketball games that week or no tournaments. No, right. We'll find out. I'll take a look.
All right. That is a good point. You might be a tad busy. All right, Coach. Well, let's get back in pro wrestling. And by the way, we did have a couple comments in the chat box. Of course, the traditional one from the Bionic Scoop. Coach Mark Scoop.
Ooh.
Those awesome photographers in pro wrestling. Make sure you look up the Bionic Scoop. He will take care of you. Jesse Hyde in the chat box, by the way, said Turkey going away from WWE into a Royal Rumble Riyadh from the backlash of WrestleMania announcement. Those sellout chants, which there were from WWE fans, we think Riyadh maybe not the host city for Mania 43. Well, guess what? It is going to be the host for WrestleMania 43. But yeah, we talked about that in the last hour with WrestleMania 43 headed to Saudi Arabia. Definitely a money grab, but we'll see how that turns out. It'll be, I'm sure that, I heard people saying, oh, it's the crowd's going to be awesome. I'm like, the crowd's always awesome, but one thing that does happen, Coach, when they do go overseas is because there are minimal opportunities to see professional wrestling at that level. The crowds are pretty psyched up. There's no question about that.
Yeah, that is true. They do those songs, they do those chants, and if I have any chance to go, I'd go to Saudi Arabia. I'd take that experience on and see what it's like. So if anybody needs any coverage out there, send me out there. I'll go.
Yeah, I will say Riyadh looks like a very interesting city to see. They do some pretty amazing things over there. Places like Abu Dhabi and so on. But like I said, there's a trade-off. We'll just say that there's a trade-off. Let me sorry, I'm grabbing notes here real quick, Coach. Oh, because I know I want to talk about this. Andrade, our friend Andrade from WWE. Well, WWE no more. And the word is now getting out. Apparently, WWE hadn't been able to reach him for a while, and he was supposed to be on the last pay-per-view. He was not. And Dave Meltzer is saying that it was some sort of disciplinary issue, not drugs or anything like that, or abuse or whatever. But apparently WWE not happy with Andrade, and he is a man without a ship again. And he's so good, Coach. What is going on with this? This is crazy. How can Andrade not get to a top of a card?
Yeah, I don't know. There's always two sides to the story, and then there's the truth. But Andrade's had his opportunities, and companies from here to Timbuktu, all over the place, where he's been given pushes, where they've taken the pump the brakes a little bit, then give him another push, and nothing's really caught. He's got the body, he's got the wrestling ability, he's got a good look in the ring. I don't know, man. Same thing with Cross. Those two guys, either they're snake bit, they're jinx, but at least they're making money along the way. But I know those two guys are some competitive, fiery individuals that want more ring time. So who knows what's next for Andrade, but I hope it's somewhere, because I enjoy watching him. I thought they were going to give those two guys the tag team titles.
Yeah. Ray Phoenix. So now we know why.
Yeah,
there was some stuff going on behind the scenes. So Andrade hitting the road, and we'll see if I don't know if he can end up back in AEW, but we'll keep an eye out for Andrade here pretty soon. Also pulling, bear with me for 1 second, Coach, and I apologize. I've got notes all over the place. Eddie Kingston's back. Yeah, we got to get that. It hasn't been in the ring since 2024. He is returning. He will be on the All Out pay-per-view, taking on Big Bill. But Eddie Kingston, of course, just pretty much wrecked a knee and tore his body apart. But but Eddie Kingston, a return for the Mad King. Are you excited?
Yeah, I am excited for him. He brings a lot to professional wrestling, especially now with all the injuries that AEW has. It'll be nice to get a big name back. And he's great on the mic. He's great on the ring. But what I love most is I know a lot of people love to bash Tony Khan, but, Eddie Kingston said directly that when he had all these problems with his knees and he took it to his insurance company, they weren't going to cover it. But old Tony Khan, he took care of everything out of his own pocket, asked for nothing in return. And those are the type of things that people don't talk about Tony Khan. He's there for his talent. He's very philanthropic with his money, gives a lot of people opportunities. So it's not always about the bottom line of how many viewers they have or what cable deals or satellite deals they're making. He's making sure that his guys are well taken care of, and that's the way wrestling should be.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I'm excited to see you back.
Yeah, so very, very happy to see Eddie Kingston back in the ring. All right, we got to get our other break in here. And when we come back, we're going to take a look at what this huge weekend coming up in pro wrestling on the 20th. All Out, WrestlePalooza, and a few other stories. And I got a story to tell, too. So stick around, everybody. We'll be right back on the Mark Hoke Show here on KDAWN 101.5 FM, the talk of Las Vegas. Stick around. We got a whole lot more to wrap it up. With Coach Rosey and myself. You can follow Coach Rosey, Real Coach Rosey. And I'm at Mark Hoke Show on X. Stick around. We'll be right back.
Winter is coming soon, and Air Supply is here to help. If you're looking to upgrade your home's air conditioning or heating system, you should always get 3 bids. And remember, Air Supply will beat any written quote by 10% or will give you $100 cash on the spot. Call us today at 702-328-0888 or visit airsupply.vegas. At Air Supply, you can always expect a higher level of service. Call 702-328-0888 or visit airsupply.vegas. Terms and conditions apply.
If you need to sell your house,
talk to Aaron Taylor.
You want to sell it fast and get the most cash, talk to Aaron Taylor,
the real estate guy.
What's up, Las Vegas? Aaron Taylor, the real estate guy. And Jacob Taylor here. Right now, interest rates have created hesitation. But here's the reality. We all know they're coming down.
That's right, Dad. And at the Real Estate Guy, we give you every advantage possible.
Sellers will front the cost for repairs and even give you cash advances with no interest, so you walk away with top dollar.
Buyers, we negotiate the best deals, and our specialized team knows the new home market inside and out.
And if you need speed, we'll even buy distressed homes for cash in 24 hours. No gimmicks, just solutions built to help you move decisively.
Don't get caught reacting. Be the smart one. Call the Real Estate Guys today before the market moves without you.
Call 702-310-6683. That's 702-310-MOVE. eXp Realty, license number 388886. Call for details.
Talk to Aaron Taylor,
the real estate guy.
Hunger Action Month is back. More than 375,000 Southern Nevadans still experience food insecurity, and you can fight back. September 22nd through 25th, join 3 Square Food Bank, Odyssey, and hunger-related events as the Four Corners Food Drive returns. Listen in from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. as this live fundraising event fights hunger in all 4 corners of the Vegas Valley. Go to 3square.org to learn more.
Ready to kick off the fun? Chumba Casino is your go-to game plan during halftime or overtime. From spinning slots to instant scratch-style cards, it's like running the perfect play, all from home. New players score a free welcome bonus and daily logins with a shot at some serious prizes every time you play. Get in the game and visit ChumbaCasino.com today. Let's Chumba. Sponsored by VGW Group. No purchase necessary. See terms at ChumbaCasino.com. Must be over 21 and present in a state where it's legal to play.
Life insurance. Why are you putting it off? Can't afford it? Too much hassle? Think you don't need it? There's lots of excuses for putting off life insurance. But if you weren't there, who would pay the mortgage and other bills? With Ethos, you could be covered in 10 minutes and boom, family protected. Ethos, fast and easy online term life insurance. Up to $2 million in coverage with no medical exam. Some policies as low as $1 a day. Answer a few health questions and get your free quote at ethos.com/play. That's ethos.com/play.
Stop your grinding with Bucks 9 3rd.
Are you waking up in the morning with a sore jaw, headaches, ringing in your ears, all because you're grinding and clenching your teeth at night? That's exactly what was going on with me. I ended up going to a dentist, and he wants to charge over $600 for a night guard. That's when I found the Brooks Night Guard. You mold it at home to the top or bottom teeth. Other mouth guards go all the way to the back, which allows the back teeth to touch. This is where most of the grinding and clenching occurs. The Brooks Night Guard redirects the bite force away from the back teeth, reducing jaw pain while still protecting the teeth. This unique design is what makes Brooks Night Guard different from all other traditional grind guards. Order your Brooks Night Guard today and get 10% off plus free shipping. Go to brooksnightguard.com and enter the code BRUX91. That's BRUX91.
Stop your grinding with Brooks Night Guard.
1015 FM KDAWN.
You're listening to the #1 professional wrestling radio show in Vegas, The Mark Hoke Show. The Mark Hoke Show. Now, here again is Mark Hoke.
All right, let's get back to it and wrap this thing up. It's the best in pro wrestling and a whole lot more on The Mark Hoke Show. I am the aforementioned one, Mark Hoke. Thanks for being with us here on KDAWN and on the Odyssey app. You got to download that. You can hear Jimmy Failla's show and my show. Go back to back. Take turns. You'll be just gleeful after you do that. And of course, we got Coach Rosey from adfreeshows.com, where you can check out all the incredible podcasts that they've got over there with some of your all-time favorites. You will absolutely love ad-free shows, so go over there and get your subscription today. Also want to remind everybody that if you need health insurance, life insurance, my good friend Pat Casal at the Multicare Group is going to take care of you. I promise. If you need any of that, especially like if you're a wrestler, man, you know, it's hard to find insurance. Pat Casal can get you insurance anywhere in the country. So give him a call right now, 702-286-1014. It's 702-286-1014. 702-286-1014. That's Pat Casal with the Multicare Group. They'll take care of your health insurance, life insurance, and if you're running companies and you need benefits consulting or anything like that, Pat's got you covered. So once again, Pat Casal at themulticaregroup.com, 702-286-1014. All right, Coach, we're 1 week away from this big showdown with AEW and WWE running on the same day. The cards are just about set. And I got to tell you, the person that wins this is a fan. We are just blessed that this competition happened because these cards are loaded real fast. To break down the AEW All-Out card, that'll be at noon Pacific. We have an 8-woman tornado tailgate brawl with Harley Cameron, Mina Shirakawa, Queen Amanada, and Will Nightingale against Megan Bain, Penelope Ford, and the Triangle of Madness will be represented by Julia Hart and Sky Blue. Adam Copeland, the former Edge, and Christian Cage take on FTR. We got the Hurt Syndicate with MVP taking on Ricochet and the Gates of Agony. Mercedes Moné defends the TBS title against Rio, John Moxley, and Darby Allin in a coffin match. Get ready for that one. And a tables and tacks match with MJF Mark Briscoe. Tony Storm faces off Jamie Hayter, Chris Statlander, and Tekla for the women's championship. Hangman Adam Page is taking on TNT champion Kyle Fletcher. Okada defends the unified championship against Takeshita, Mascara Dorada, or the Beast Morto. Spinning gets in the match. Eddie Kingston, Big Bill, and Brodito defend the tag team titles in a ladder match against 3 tag teams to be named. That's the AEW card. Coach, that sounds fun, doesn't it?
Yeah, I'm excited to see Edge and Christian take on FTR. Call me sentimental, whatever. Being in Toronto, talk about fan engagement. I think you'll have some great fan engagement there. And I'm also really looking forward to seeing MJF and Briscoe and their story. You know, yeah. I think Briscoe's going to go over, and I think the crowd is going to pop because there's been so many times where he's taken it, and then in the big match he hasn't gone over. So I'd like to check the odds on that match because I'd like to bet on Briscoe.
Well, give me a second to see if it's up there. I actually have that page open right now, and MJF is a -700, Mark Briscoe +400. So you can pick up some coin on that, Coach. On betonline.ag. Check it out.
And that 12 o'clock start time is good for me being on the West Coast, because if I do want to go out at night, I can't. So
yeah,
I love
until
it
you
when
get
I go out.
until you get stuck watching WrestlePalooza at 4 o'clock. Io Sky takes on Stephanie Vaquer for the vacant women's world championship. The Usos and Jay, being a bad boy, taking out LA Knight the other night on Monday Night Raw. They will take on Division. That'll be Bronson Reed and Braun Breaker. CM Punk and AJ Lee, the returning Poison woman. She's just, it's going to be fun. Taking on Seth Rollins and Becky Lynch in a mixed tag match. Cody Rhodes, Drew McIntyre for the undisputed WWE Championship. Actually, it's just called the WWE Championship now. And John Cena, Brock Lesnar. So, Coach, pick a card. If you were only allowed to watch one of those cards, what would it be?
As a wrestling fan, which I am, I would pick the AEW card. But if someone would just wanted, some visual entertainment, some great production and some razzle dazzle, I tell them to watch WWE. But if you're a true wrestling fan, or whatever your definition of true is, I think you can see the quality of matches are going to be better in that AEW card in Toronto. There's storylines involved. A lot of those in WrestlePalooza are just matches that are just kind of thrown together without much story. So if you're in the story, if you're in the great matches, AEW is the one I think is better.
Yeah, they're going to be both sensational cards, and get ready, fans. Buckle down and order some pizzas and get some wings and maybe a bottle of Jack Daniels on the side, and get ready for about 7 or 8 hours of wrestling. It's going to be a fun day on the 20th. Ooh, unbelievable. Wow. So before we go, I do feel like I have a quick obligation to talk about something that happened here in Las Vegas that personally affected me with what has taken place after the aftermath of the Charlie Kirk assassination. I've been getting a lot of comments and people talking to me about this. And a teacher, actually, there's been a few teachers in the Clark County School District, but one at my daughter's school named Robert Cowles made a comment on his social media saying, "I can't think of many people more deserving than a gunshot wound to the neck," about Charlie Kirk. And it has caused an aftermath that was very unfortunate. They decided to let these teachers back in the school, Coach, instead of putting them on leave. They gave him extra security. I'd gone to the school 2 hours before that to talk to the principal. And we thought, oh, well, they're keeping an eye on the kids. No, they were keeping an eye on this guy. And a student had apparently sneaked a gun into the building and had he didn't really know how to work it because the safety was still on, and he was going to attempt to kill that teacher, jeopardizing all the students in the school. And my daughter was in that hallway. An incredibly irresponsible decision by the Clark County School District to let that guy in the school. Just put him on leave and figure it out later. But the kids were scared going into the school, and they were absolutely devastated coming out as we were picking them up. And I just have to say, this is my personal feelings that this guy and these other teachers, there was another one who said he watched the video 50 times of Charlie being shot and enjoyed it every time a little bit more. They have no place in a classroom. And CCSD endangered my daughter this week, and I am not happy about it. And I know I've been talking to some other parents too, and we plan to try to rectify the situation. So Clark County School District, if you're out there listening, get it together. And for those of you that are parents of students at Cimarron and these other schools, we're not alone. I promise. So just wanted to put that out there, Coach. And I know you work in a school too.
Social media, you can put some pretty dumb stuff up there. And as a teacher, we have an obligation to our students to not, sway based on anything that we think. Maybe professional wrestling, maybe a sports team, but never. It's kind of like with wrestling. Wrestlers never talk about religion or politics. Same in the classroom. You shouldn't be talking about religion. You shouldn't be talking about politics. The teacher made a mistake. There's definitely plenty of spots in the school district where he can be put on leave and still earn his money. It can be online. I mean, they'll make the right decision on that. And I applaud you as parents for what you guys are trying to do to hold the school district accountable, because you guys have way more power than us as teachers have.
Well, like I said, and for those students at Cimarron, then I had to watch walking out of the building crying and the parents grabbing a hold of them. We're all together. And if anybody out there needs me, you can reach me at markhokeshow@gmail.com or all the social medias. Guys, thanks for being with us. Do appreciate it. I want to thank Jimmy Failla for coming on the show. It was awesome. Thank Stu Myrick and Phil Stamper, and of course, Coach Rosey, Josh Rosenbaum for being with us. We will see you guys next week on the Mark Hoke Show, and we'll have previews for those 2 pay-per-views and a whole lot more on the Mark Hoke Show. Once again, follow us on X at Mark Hoke Show, Facebook, The Mark Hoke Show, and YouTube, The Mark Hoke Show. Like, subscribe, just click on it all. Go to markhokeshow.com. We'll see you next week, everybody. Have a great day, Las Vegas.
Want more of The Mark Hoke Show? Follow us on Twitter at Mark Hoke Show, like us on Facebook at The Mark Hoke Show, and visit markhokeshow.com to keep up with everything happening with the show. And remember to check out all of our archive shows on YouTube at The Mark Hoke Show, and download our podcasts at markhokeshow.podbean.com and all your favorite podcast outlets. So join the Mark Hoke Show family today, and thanks for listening.
Dear Rocky Roads, the